what's up everyone? Digital Dylan here. Today I wanted to talk about a big question that I get asked a lot and a really special treat for you guys, and that is, should I go with Google or should I go with Facebook? Now, to kind of preface that, Google being, Google, YouTube of course is huge, but I think a lot of times when people think of Google, they're thinking of, search ads, someone searching on Google and getting found at the top, or a display ad on a blog page because, put a little display ad in there. A lot of that relates to Google. Of course, there's YouTube with videos, or Facebook. Facebook being Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, in the social sphere of where a lot of people spend their time. So I want to kind of start this by going into the major differences and kind of what separates, because to answer this question, it really depends on your business, but I would say for a large majority, Facebook is going to work better, but both have their reasoning, they both have their necessity in terms of what is your current strategy. So a lot of times, if we're talking, I'm asking you questions, you're asking questions, we're in a back and forth, we'll define what it is that best would relate to your business. And the first thing I kind of want to get into with major differences with Google is it's a reactive approach. It's reactive. So what does that mean? So reactive in the way that someone is actively looking for that. So you've identified, they probably identified a problem, or they're searching a problem, but they've actively know that's what they're looking for, which to most businesses, that's awesome, and that can be huge. One of the big downfalls with Google relates to cost. You're trying to compete for keywords. I mean, with Facebook, you're competing on some level, but with Google, it's been around to where there's a lot of competition, which goes to my second point, which is it's oversaturated. Now, this is not to say that you can't make it work, but if you're trying to, for example, I'm gonna give you a little story. I started a business right before getting into marketing, learning marketing. I started a t-shirt business, and it was veteran-inspired apparel. I had in my old apartment, I had a room dedicated to this. I segmented out a whole room. I had this big thing with like 6 arms going off of it. I got all the t-shirts, and I would be in there just sweating because there's this little t-shirt heater to like cure the ink. And it literally, I would be dripping in sweat, just cranking out t-shirts, making these shirts. And it was a cool process. It was painful to do it, I'll say that, trying to learn it, not having taken any training or worked at a t-shirt company. That was difficult, but seeing the finished product was so rewarding. But of course, the most important thing is, hey, who's gonna buy my t-shirts? So I got to a point where I was like, where do I go? How do I get people to buy these t-shirts? And when you're selling them online, I built a website. You're thinking, well, who's going to come to my website? If I would have put things on Google, I probably wouldn't have no one was really searching for my business. Now I could have maybe tried to get found for like veteran t-shirts or veteran inspired apparel, but there's a lot of other companies that probably would have put up the funds and been like, well, I want to own this space. I want to own this keyword. So for me, Google really wasn't, I didn't know about it at the time, but it wasn't as pliable of an option, vice me literally just making calls or going up to people, going to a trade show and being like, this is my t-shirt, this is my company, and trying to get known. So which leads me to my second part about Facebook, and something that I love about Facebook is that it's proactive. So unlike Google, where someone's identified a problem and searching for it, a lot of times proactive, people don't know you necessarily exist. They might if they've been to your website and you're now, retargeting them, trying to get back in front of them because they were browsing around your website, or they did a little research and then they found you. Now, yeah, it can be a reactive in that way, but through retargeting, remarketing. But it's proactive in that a lot of times you're showing something to someone for the first time. So for example, let's say, I do like reading books, but let's say I'm like a super avid reader and, a speed reading course comes up on my Facebook newsfeed and it's like, hey, are you reading too slow? Do you wish you could, read faster? And I'm thinking to myself like, yeah, I'd like to read a little faster. That would be nice. Then I can read more books because I have this target of books I want to read, for example. That was a problem I didn't necessarily know I had, or maybe knew, but didn't really identify or think about. So that's kind of where Facebook comes into play, Facebook, Instagram comes into play, because it's a proactive approach. You're getting into their newsfeed and just being like, hey, look, I exist, right? So the other key things being, with social is that obviously being proactive, being in front of their faces, but that it's still, and I don't want to say it's early on, a lot of times, we look at, Facebook, where they've been, recent past, they got sued a lot of money because it used to kind of be more of like a wild, wild west approach. The, politics, Cambridge and Analytica came into play, and, all this scandal where Facebook got sued. And so they're sitting here like, whoa, we need to protect our users. We need to, obviously people don't want to always see this stuff. So Facebook, of course, has taken protective measures, but they're still in a growth period, and they have a lot of capability, and they're continuing to, engineer it in a way that's favorable to both advertisers and the users on the platform. Because of course they don't want to get people to stop using Facebook or Instagram. They want people to continue to use it, but they also want to keep getting their revenue and having advertisers pay them to show ads to the customers. So I would say it's not oversaturated. I'd say it's probably more like great timing to jump in to social. And I don't know if that will necessarily change. Of course, if everybody does Facebook and actually does it effectively, that's a big, big cursor there. If everybody does Facebook, then of course it would become oversaturated. If you invested in Google Ads, 6, 7, 10 years ago, you probably were banking, because you were early on. You could rank for keywords that there wasn't a lot of people trying to rank for those keywords. Facebook has a similar system where they're trying to be like, well, we want to display your ad to this market, but this company wants to display their ad to the same market. So you're kind of balancing what time slot you take in, and I don't want to get into all the nuances of it, but basically it's great timing for Facebook and Instagram because it's still early on. It's a proactive approach, and it's just overall a great strategy. And I like to say, if you're a new business, if you're looking for growth right now, you're not just trying to find the people who are actively searching for you, or existing customers. Let's say you're trying to find new business. You're like, I want to grow, I want to get to the next level in my business, or I'm just starting and I just want to find someone. Then Facebook is where it's at. So I like to think of like a funnel approach. I know we always end up drawing funnels. But let's say here is, let's just say this is like the line of your business, right? So here's your company. We're just gonna put a little looking house. Let's say that's your company. And you got your prospect over here who's just going on their day and they're confused, let's just say. Let's say you have that solution. They don't know, with Google, this new potential customer doesn't know what they would search. So this is when they've identified the problem. They know, they have some semblance that, they need to increase their reading skill, they need to be faster at it, whatever it might be. They actively know they have a problem. So of course, this is where Google would be perfect when they're searching. But when they don't know they have a problem, that's the beginning. They don't know you exist. That's where the proactivity of social comes into play. You can actively show them what you have and say, hey, John, we know you're a reader because of certain targeting. I can get into another video with how we can target the right customer, because you don't want to just target everyone. I mean, maybe some products may be good to target everyone, but most people have some kind of niche or some kind of area of focus that they want to target in. And I can get into that in another video. But let's say John, he wants to increase his reading skills. We know he's an avid reader because he's always buying books on Audible, and Facebook has collected information that this is an interest of John's. He likes to read. So here comes in the business that teaches people how to read faster and understand what they're reading twice as fast, let's say. So they're gonna show something to John, who's up here, and be like, hey John, would you like to learn how to read faster and absorb twice as much so that you can read more books? And John might be saying, yeah, what do I have to do? Or maybe he's not interested, he scrolls by, he doesn't get retargeted, and he never sees it again. But let's say John's like, yeah, I want that. I want to learn how to read more. He clicks, he goes to the website, maybe he goes to your page, he watches the whole. Now Facebook becomes proactive to reactive. Now you can be like, John, we know you're interested in learning to read faster, some semblance of interest. Would you like a free guide on how you can read faster? Just a quick 10 steps to kind of increase it a little bit. And John's like, yeah, I'll do that. And that comes into like getting them down the funnel because, okay, yeah, he didn't know you existed. He found a little bit of interest, you got his attention. Let's say he took that little guide on how he could learn how to read a little bit faster. He hasn't even paid for anything yet. Maybe this was 99 cents, maybe it was free. Maybe just like, hey, I want to get your email. You want to do some email marketing. There's a lot of strategies you can do. And when I come back to the idea of Google or Facebook, if you're really trying to dominate and really grow your business, they call it omnipresence. You want to be everywhere. You're going to want to be doing email marketing. I would say even with Facebook, some kind of follow-up. You got to have some kind of follow-up, whether that's someone calling them and be like, hey, John, are you still interested in, the reading faster? We've got this program, whatever. Or if it's email, like, hey, John, Casey bought this program and, now she's read 1,000 books this year. Something wild like that, whatever it might be, as long as it's real, as long as it's truthful, that's important, obviously, is being honest in what you're giving to customers and making sure that they're getting a product that will obviously satisfy their needs or service that satisfies their needs. So again, let's say John didn't know, maybe watched the video, maybe went to the website. Now we're remarketing to him. We show him, a little PDF. Hey, John, we know you're interested. Download this. He downloads it. Now he's getting a little bit more like, wow, this company's kind of cool. Now you've got your training course, let's just say. Hey, John, $100. You can join in. We've got videos of how you can do this. Or maybe he buys that, maybe he doesn't. Hey John, we've got a live seminar. Hey John, we're coming out, a bunch of readers are getting together, we got a big event going on, do you want to come attend? Whatever it is, hey, we got personal coaching, we're gonna have someone come with you and show you exactly what to do to read faster. Hey John, we've got the solution for you, man, Whereas reactive, I'm not saying that you can't do this and then be like, hey John, we know you were interested because we found you up here with Facebook. We're gonna use Google now and say, John, you wanna come to one of our live seminars. But we're also gonna hit them on social. So those are some of the big differences and why I say Facebook, Instagram is huge for new businesses or someone really trying to find new prospects is because you're not gonna necessarily get people searching for your business if they don't know you exist. This is how you really scale and grow your business. And there's a lot of strategies, a lot of targeting and follow-up steps. There's intricacies. It doesn't have it's simple, but you got to be ready to understand how it works. You got to make sure that however your business takes a customer from new to a buyer to being happy to saying, man, I want to leave a review for this company. I love them. They're awesome. That's what you can build through Google or Facebook. Now, I know I've thrown a lot and I wanted to throw out one little extra thing on why I think Facebook is just so much better in terms of new business, getting new business. I'm not saying anything bad about Google, YouTube. I love those platforms. They definitely have a huge potential and have their place. But for a lot of businesses, a lot of times Google has become that household name. It's like, well, you can advertise online, so like Google, and people don't always pay attention. Be like Facebook, that's just people posting stuff. It's not just that. Advertising with Facebook, Instagram is huge. It's exploding. It's getting a lot stronger. So I wanted to say, if you advertise on Facebook and, don't quote me on these numbers, these are gonna be ballpark, but I heard if you spent about $3,000 per month on Facebook ads, Facebook, and again, don't quote me on who said this, but it's a reliable source and I just can't recall the person right now. They expect about a 30% increase in Google searches. You probably definitely can't read that because I can't even read it from where I'm standing right now. But $3,000, you can expect a 30% increase in Google searches. We'll just say on average, or more people searching for you, depending on the size of the business, how much you spent on Google. The idea being that by advertising on Facebook, you are now gaining people searching for you. It's potentially someone telling their buddy, hey, yeah, I found this company, it's teaches speed reading or something, and he searches it on Google, it finds you, which is why I say both are important. But Facebook is how you found it. It's how you started that conversation. It's how you started growing your business, started finding those new customers. It's how you started creating that funnel for them, and maybe even took it through the whole thing. I mean, really, honestly, you could just do Facebook and Instagram and do a full funnel like this and be successful, without a doubt. Now, Google has its place. YouTube has its place. It's definitely key. So when it really comes down to this question, Google or Facebook for advertising, I say both. But again, it starts with where are you at? What is your strategy? What are you trying to achieve? So if you have questions, post them in this video comments, send me a message. If you want to do a one-on-one, I can kind of see what you're doing. I can kind of give you a little roadmap and kind of maybe give you some suggestions with what you're currently doing or what maybe you could be doing and where it might be best for you to start really growing your business. Thank you. This has been Digital Dylan, and I hope you have a wonderful day.